Hey Fandom, it's me Aaron for a comic show, New Comics Now. Wow, this is a huge week of comics. June's been like a big month for us and comics, just one signing after another, and Heroes Con rolling into Super Con in 2 weeks, and it's just nuts. But this week there's so many good comics. Batman Superman is the biggest book that came out this week. It's number one. It's Batman Superman this time, not Superman Batman. And Greg Pak, Jay Lee, the art's like so awesome. I just love Jay Lee's art. You've seen him most recently on Before Watchmen, the Ozymandias one, but and he also did Inhumans back in the day. But yes, this is billed in the description as the first meeting of Superman and Batman and the New 52, blah, blah, blah. And some people pointed out, well, in Justice League number 1, that was the first time they met 5 years ago. And, Superman just said like, hey, what powers do you have? Just kind of being a cocky dick, and Batman doesn't have any powers and blah, blah, blah. But, this is the DC universe. It's not beholden to our logic. And I'm not saying like retcons or bad writing or whatever, but couldn't they have met before that, and then their minds got erased of that meeting with some villains or some craziness that, this universe has these elements. There's shapeshifters, there's mind wipers, there's craziness. And I really like this issue. I love the dynamic with Superman and Batman. I love the internal monologue where they're both seeing the same situation and they're having completely different perspectives on it. It's just so cool to see the juxtaposition of those two characters. And I like the idea with this as we can see they're building friendship. With the old Superman Batman, when it was built that way back in the day, it was, they were already established as friends and they already had this long history together. This they do not. And I like it. I like Greg Pak. He's the one that had Hulk in space, that whole Planet Hulk and all that. So great writer. He doesn't do all that much, and he hasn't really done anything for DC, but now he is. And he's also taken over Action Comics after that Andy Diggle debacle. Moving on to Green Lantern, I got the red ring, I got the orange ring, and we interviewed Rob Venditti when he was here. That's on Nerdy Show. We'll put a link to that where we have this whole interview, and I ran the panel for Green Lantern at Heroes Con, and we have that online too that you guys can listen to. The final 2 books for the first Green Lantern month came out. You got Red Lanterns with my favorite Guy Gardner and Larfleeze. Now Larfleeze is just a fun book. It's just, you either like Larfleeze or you don't. The cover says this book's all mine. It was a silly idea to put him in a backup of another book when, the whole concept of the character is he wants it all. Why would he just be the backup? So there's the question of, does he deserve his own title? Of course he thinks he does. Can he maintain it? Who knows? But Keith Giffen is a comedic writer. You have Giffen and DeMatteis together, just like in JLI, and it's fun. I can't stress enough how much I want to see Nort in here, but they're going to be doing some cool stuff. There's going to be an Orange Lantern Corps, which I assume the constructs are just going to regain their life, regain their power as his powers go wonky or whatnot. But there was a few cool revelations of where his power comes from in here. And all in all, it's just a fun thing. If you like to see this character, you'll like this book. It's not tying into the other books, but, it will eventually, but so far, not at all. Red Lanterns does tie into everything, and it's Hal Jordan asking Guy Gardner to go undercover as a Red Lantern because he needs better intelligence. And, if you want intelligence, you go to Guy Gardner. Right. Intelligence like spying on the Red Lantern. So Guy kind of laughs about it and laughs about how Hal's in charge and whatnot. And apparently, Guy is going to be perhaps seen as a traitor by all the other Green Lanterns because no one knows that he's undercover other than Hal, which is kind of cool. Like his man on the outside is Hal Jordan. So if Hal gets taken out, no one will know that he's undercover. Shades of like that book Sleeper. But I just like the idea that he and Hal have never been friends. They've never really, they've always had this adversarial relationship, and now he's essentially kind of working for Hal, but doing something for the Corps. He loves the Corps, and if this is what he has to do to protect the Corps from the Red Lanterns, Guy's going to do it because Guy is absolutely the greatest Green Lantern that ever lived. And Charles Soule is awesome. This book was really great. I love Charles Soule. So far, so good for his voice for Guy Gardner. I was going to be critical about it if I didn't like it, but I just love Charles Soule. He's doing the new Superman Wonder Woman book coming in October, which is that romantical book with I think they kiss on all 20 pages. And he's taken over Thunderbolts with next issue for Marvel. I've already read that, and it was insanely awesome. Like, you have Punisher thinking in his War Journal thing, and he's saying all this stuff like, I'm leaving Elektra, I'm not going to hook up with her anymore, she lied to me, she did this, she did that. And he's thinking the things that readers think, like Punisher wouldn't be hooking up with Elektra. That's out of character. And it is out of character. In his War Journal thing where he's doing his internal, monologue, he's saying that he's done with her, but then in his actions, he is not. So it's kind of cool. I like that. Moving on to Justice League of America, number 5. I don't want to spoil this, but come on, you guys. The internet went just in a flame war of people that seem like they never read a comic book before in their life. I don't know, Tumblr has this kind of power where you guys know Catwoman got shot in the head and she's dead, and oh my god, shock value, why are they killing this like iconic female character for shock value? It's like, yes, it's shock value. No, it's not dead. A cliffhanger is not death. If someone dies on the last page of a comic, do not count them as dead until the next issue. Just trust me on that, because that's the nature of cliffhangers. Are they, aren't they? You can like or dislike the book. I'm not saying that, you can have the reaction you want, critically, but don't assume that someone's dead when they die on the last page of a periodical comic, especially in the dynamics of the DC universe where there's a shapeshifter on the freaking team. But it's cool, and this issue is the last one before Trinity War. Speaking of the last issue before Trinity War, Justice League, you got Shazam, and you guys remember the Captain Marvel family? Well, Shazam has his own family now that he's not called Captain Marvel. We can't really call it the Captain Marvel family, so I think we should call it the Shazamily. And that's all I'm going to say about that before people just click out of this. The biggest book for me from Marvel is Hawkeye. This is a single-issue story, all told from the perspective of the dog. It's like the dog's point of view. It's like first canine. And so you just get the words that the dog would understand, and all his smell, you get the pictures of the smells that he has as he pieces through the mystery of who shot, if you read the last issue, someone was killed, and the dog is solving the mystery, and you get the first canine point of view of the dog, and I freaking loved it. You have all these pictures of what he smells as he does the whole detective work, and it's a single-issue story. If you ever thought about trying Hawkeye, it's a wacky book, it's outside the box, it's almost like a creator-owned image book published by Marvel with the trade dress and the look and the feel, single-issue stories. This is an issue, just sample this issue, and if you like it, buy the collection, that My Life as a Weapon. It's so good. This is what I love about comics. When these big companies do things this wildly creative and just let their creative teams do whatever they want, awesome. Love that dog. Pizza Dog is awesome. Age of Ultron Book 10 AI is out. This is Pym and the aftermath of Pym and Age of Ultron. Obviously, he created Ultron, caused a lot of problems for the Marvel Universe, and he's going to try to put the pieces back together. Written by Mark Waid, who a brilliant writer. He knows character, he knows Pym, and it sets up AI, #1, which comes out next week, Avengers AI that I read, and man, Doombot steals every scene he's in. Doombot's going to be the breakout character for that. Guardians Gamora was great in here. Tony and Gamora. This is just all like a rest and relaxation issue where they're at a bar, drinking, partying, having sex with each other. It's a lot of charm. It's a lot of fun. No, Rocket Raccoon does not have sex with any, women in it, but Tony does. And then there's death. Rocket Raccoon does kill people, so, I guess that's his kind of release, is the release of killing people. But I love Guardians of the Galaxy. Bendis is kicking ass on it. And X-Men 2's out, and this is Wood. He does really great character, but the plot is Claremont-esque. So you get this Claremont-esque plot of kind of sci-fi, kind of some sublime, some characters that haven't been used much outside of Claremont. So you get that retro cool feel of Claremont X-Men that you like without all the heavy-handed dialogue and the all that omniscient narrator and all like thought bubbles or whatever the heck, it's very modern, it's Wood, but it has that retro cool feel. I loved it. Lazarus, Rucka and Lark, creator-owned. Rucka's doing creator-owned work now. This is cool. Lark just did a piece on why creator-owned work that I saw on Bleeding Cool, and Image is doing some great stuff. This is in a dystopian near future. She is like a police officer soldier for the family. In the future, as resources dry up, and there's the 1%, and the 1% are all families because it's family wealth that gets passed down. These families get these enforcers that are part of their family, these police, military enforcers, that they can regenerate. They can come back from being killed, like Lazarus, and protect the family and protect the family's wealth and the family's interests. And it's just a really cool thing that just this step into the future as resources dry up and as those with power do crazy stuff to maintain their power. I I dug it. I liked it. Uncanny, this is your Diggle fix. You wanted on Action Comics. He's not on Action Comics anymore. And it's dynamite, it's crime, but it's this crime mashup of a dude with powers, these uncanny abilities, that uses his abilities just to do crime, like one-man Ocean's 11. And I enjoyed it. You guys know I like crime. You know I like Diggle, so give that a shot. The Waid #2. There's all these #2s out this week of just great stuff. If you like Waid #1, get #2. If you haven't, Vertigo is really doing a new reboot of defying what's been going on. They're defying competition, defying your perceptions of Vertigo. They're not out of the game. It's not just Sandman coming back. Trillium's going to be awesome by Lemire. And The Wake by Snyder and great art by Murphy. Just wonderful stuff. Really enjoying it. Jupiter's Legacy, Mark Miller, Kick-Ass's book. I like these old men arguing about their legacy, arguing about what they let the world go to crap in this universe. They've had powers and they just maintain the status quo as it slid down. And their kids don't want to maintain the status quo. And the one alpha dog, patriarch, his son is just an asshole. But the patriarch has disrespected his son, disrespected his brother, and now there's this alliance between the uncle and nephew that I'm excited about. I like it. I like this stuff. Bounce, more drugs and superpowers. Basically, drugs giving you superpowers. Cool. Regular show #2. I mean, haters gonna hate, send them to the moon. And Turtles. I'm always talking about these IDW franchise books, and it's not just nostalgia. It's not just that I played with Ninja Turtles, I played with G.I. Joes, I played with Transformers, and now I own a comic book store and I read these comics. This is like, when the stuff is good, it's good. And it's good on its own merits, but just that bit of nostalgia. You got just this homage cover. It's the whole city storyline of the city fall, and Casey getting gutted. Like, you can tell that from the cover. And the second part's out, and there's just something about it that it just is capturing this it's new, it's in the new universe, it's not the Mirage universe, but it's capturing this feel for me of the old Mirage comics. And obviously the whole story arc's kind of an homage story arc, but I'm digging it. I'm just really liking it. And Fatale Volume 3's out. This is all like single issue stories of her through time and different passages of the one with this crazy power over men and clergy after her and all this stuff. It's, the Old West, it's burning the witches, it's all kinds of stuff. I just love Fatale, and I love how this story and this character took on a life of her own, that Brew and Phillips were just going to do a very short miniseries on it, and now here's Volume 3, and the story's unfolding organically, and they're letting it go where it will, and I'm just loving it. I can't say enough about Fatale. Give it a shot. And wow, this is a big week of comics, This is crazy. Enjoy comics, Marvel, DC, indie, franchise stuff of action figures you used to play with. I just love comics, and thanks for watching the show. Bye-bye. All right, click subscribe. I do a second video every Friday that's good. Share it on Facebook. Go to our Facebook. And if you're local, come out to the Geekies and have a beer with us. Every Tuesday night, we have Geek Trivia where you can win your bar tab. We have this Thursday, the last Thursday of every month, is Comics and Comics, stand-up comics at a comic shop. That's pretty cool. This Friday is anime night. We're open to midnight, Friday and Saturday, because, you like to drink and party. And just, good stuff. Come by and let's have some fun. Thanks, bye-bye.